Hey, what's up, Prophetic Weekly family? I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Hope you had a great week, but if you didn't, it's going to be okay because this next week is going to be amazing. I got 7 powerful prophetic words that I want to share with you, and we're going to start this podcast broadcast off with a bang by my dear friend, Apostle Ryan Lestrange. He says, suddenly it will happen. No delays, no warnings, breakthrough after breakthrough. God is moving at the speed of his promise. You know, when I read that, it really resonated in my spirit. I had somebody from our church and 2 people from our mentoring program give me a very similar word this week, that they just heard the word in their spirit suddenly, and they were saying things just like Apostle Ryan just said, that things are going to happen just really quick. Amos 9:13, you're going to see breakthrough after breakthrough. Things are going to happen one right after the other. And so I have a very high expectation in my spirit. Every single day when I wake up, I'm really expecting today to be a phenomenal day. And you know what? We have breakthroughs every day. Sometimes they're huge, sometimes they're small, sometimes there's a few small ones. A lot of times people in our church, our mentoring program, or people that partner with our ministry call us with their breakthroughs, and we celebrate with people. I don't know if I ever remember a season in my life that I've seen more people have sudden breakthroughs, and so be expecting, all right? That is a powerful word to start with. Next word is by Nate Johnson. He said, I am convinced that the dark night season, and a lot of people are having warfare, people are struggling with their mind in different areas. Those seasons are completely over. Once again, here's the word breakthrough. He says, you are on a launching pad, the springboard for one of the wildest breakthroughs of your life. Now let's go back to the first word, suddenly breakthrough. Suddenly everything changed. That's what Nate Johnson's saying, that where people have been having hard warfare in their life, they're going to have sudden radical breakthrough. And when you have a breakthrough, you go through and you don't go back, okay? So you got to understand about the power of this sudden breakthrough that people are prophesying about. Nate goes on to say, this is where legacies completely shift. Okay, this is where every prophetic word that you've been praying about, believing about, you're going to see a shift into the full manifestation of the very things that the Lord has called you into. Now, let's go into Dr. Mike Maiden. He said, your turnaround season is here. It's a season of divine reversal and supernatural restoration in every single area of your family's life. Wherever the enemy has tried to come in and create havoc, heartache, or loss, God is working all things together in those areas for you to have radical breakthrough. Next word is by Lana Vawser. And she said, I heard the Lord saying, the heaviness and the attacks that many have been facing have been coming against your voice. All right, you got to understand that. Every one of us have an amazing, breathtaking purpose. We have a calling. You have a voice. Sometimes your voice may actually be done with what you work. If you work like in tech, if you work in some type of chat GPT or AI, or you work in funnels or the back end of other people's businesses and ministries and social medias, your voice may be in what you do. You think about a nurse. A nurse may never really even say a word, but radically change somebody's life by their actions. And so the enemy's been coming against you because of your voice. I've seen so many people who are school teachers, which teachers are actually government paid children's pastors and youth pastors, in my opinion. But a lot of times they say, I'm thinking about a career change. And I always ask them, like, well, did God call you into this? Make sure, your voice may be in your daily actions, okay? That the enemy's after your voice. And lift your voice and do not allow the enemy to pull you down. And just like Nehemiah, Nate Johnson's talking about, Lana Vawser's talking about, stay on the wall that God has called you to stay on. Okay, there's a lot of people that are public speakers, preachers, a lot of different vocations in life. Imagine somebody who works at a mill or a factory that's a supervisor, and they have a powerful voice, and everybody that works underneath them, man, that person has a powerful voice, and the enemy will come against you all the time. Well, the people that are underneath you, they really don't like you, care about you. You have to stay true to the very things that God has called you to. She goes on to say, at the start of the week, I felt about Nehemiah 6. It was very strong in my heart to encourage people on the call of the Lord to stay on the wall, to build and rebuild what God has called you to do. And I thought this was very unique and interesting to me because the Lord has been speaking to me very strongly over the past 2 weeks about Nehemiah. Nehemiah, it was so good because he was a builder in one hand, but he understood warfare in the other hand. And he understood, he fought against principalities, he fought against demonic voices in the region, Sanballat. A lot of times the enemy will use people as a demonic voice, but then he kept building. He never stopped building. And that's what you got to understand, why this powerful word is so relevant for today, is you cannot stop building in the midst of a hard season, okay? The heaviness and attack that many have been facing, it's coming after your voice. Where the enemy is fighting you, you have to lift your voice up and be louder in that area. So a lot of times in my life, what I realize is wherever I'm being attacked or I feel a sense of pain, I push towards this. Now, what I'm about to say is not advice for anybody else. This is for me. But recently I had this right elbow pain that was excruciating. In fact, I didn't sleep a whole lot the night before because my elbow was in so much pain. But you know what? I got ready to go to the gym and it was arm day. So you know what I started doing? I started doing arms. And 3 minutes into my arm workout, my right elbow let off a pop. Sounded like a shotgun went off and it went right back in place. Well, I could have sat around and I could have nursed that arm and it would have been sore for a long time. But you know what? I leaned into the pain and you know what? It popped back in and everything is fine. And so a lot of times in life where the enemy comes against you, he's trying to bring fear, okay? I was actually watching a video this week and this very successful gentleman was talking about the two things that stop most people: doubt and fear. And this is what the word from Lana Vawser is. The enemy will try to come in and bring doubt and fear. But like my arm workout that day, wherever I was kind of felt a soreness or a weakness or hurting, I leaned right into that and everything worked out. Everything popped back into place. A lot of times the enemy will try to get you to back up from your voice, back up from your assignment, back up from your calling. That's why this word from Lana Vawser is so powerful. She said there's such a strong sense around me as I'm praying that the heaviness and the attack, so many are people right now, and they're facing this, is they're pushing hard against the very things that the enemy is bringing a strong delusion upon, okay? And for you to just move forward. And she says the key to this prophetic word is for people to understand this: lift your voice. Even if you don't feel like it, lift your voice. I remember one time I got ready. I was going to preach in Kentucky and I had a small 103 fever. I had 3 or 4 different symptoms. I felt horrible. It was horrific sinus headache, running fever. And I felt the Lord say, go on your assignment. And I had to drive. And something happened to our flights. I drove, wasn't expecting to, but I drove. And as soon as I pulled into the town, every single symptom went away. I got ready to preach, and this one of the nights I tell the story that about 40 out of 40 people got radically healed. Blind eye was open, deaf ear popped open, somebody heard out of a deaf ear. And that's the moment when I was in an altar service and the Lord spoke to me about launching Roar Church Texarkana. You know what, if I would have called the people and said, hey, flights got canceled, running 103 fever, they would have understood that I didn't need to show up. But what's Lana Vawser talking about? You got to lift your voice and you got to press in to where the enemy's coming against you. I went, fever broke, preached, 40 out of 40 people got healed in a service, and God spoke to me about launching Roar Church Texarkana. And so you got to understand that you've got to press in to some areas in your life that may not feel comfortable, but you got to move in it. My dear friend Isaac Pitre said, anybody else that's been hit with a season that you didn't even see coming, some of you better get ready. You're about to walk through doors on another floor. You're about to walk through doors on another level you did not even know existed. Okay? Your phone's going to ring, and somebody's going to be on the other line of that phone. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to have somebody reach out to you with a business deal, a contract. My wife's been prophesying contracts. A lot of people are getting amazing contracts. You have to move forward. You have to advance. And some of you are going to find yourself in a season that you didn't even know existed. I remember one time I got asked to preach at a conference that these were like some of my heroes, and I didn't even know they knew who I was. And all of a sudden they called, and I was kind of like, wow, can't believe that you're asking me to come to this conference. You know, sometimes people are going to call you with an opportunity. So get ready for it. It is your inheritance. Next word is by Charlie Shamp. He said, I heard the Spirit of the Lord saying, this is the era of Zoe, which is Zoe life. Lay a hold of it. Clothe yourself in the Word of God. You know, let faith ignite your spirit. For I am releasing a Joshua generation, those who go to war with worship, claim the mountain, possess the promises. The days of everything that we've been believing for is here now. The days of thriving begin. Isn't this unique that Charlie Shamp had this word? Isaac Pitre just released the word that you're about to enter in a season that you didn't know existed, levels you didn't know existed. Ryan Lestrange is talking about breakthrough after breakthrough. Suddenly you're about to step in to a now moment. Like, this is letting us know that we have to be focused and ready. Next word by Dr. Mike Maiden. The greater the storm, the greater the testimony. The greater the battle, the greater the victory. The greater the pain, the greater the power. The greater the shame, the greater the honor. The greater the attack, the greater the anointing. My dear friends, I am here to tell you that we're all entering into one of the greatest moments of our life. Make sure you're in the center of God's will, doing every single thing that God had for you. These were 7 very powerful prophetic words, and every one of them is telling you where you were in pain. Where you were in pain, your just recompense, recalibration, reward from the Lord is here now. These words are not, it's coming. All 7 of these words are, it's here now. So step into the God season that He has for you and enjoy literally one of the greatest seasons of your life. This has been Prophetic Weekly. Hope you enjoyed it. If you need prayer, go to the website, jojoedawson.net. Send us a prayer request. If you want to know anything about our mentoring program, if you want to know anything about partnering with us, we appreciate it. I love you guys, and y'all have a blessed week.